Yo, I'm back. This is amazing. You can't tell me it's not. You're gonna tell me it's not amazing? Where's your YouTube video, huh? Oh, it's just your voice over a white background. Well, boom. Now it's a black background. Boom. Now there's a red triangle. Am I doing this right? I added that triangle just to let you know that I could. Took me a couple minutes. Your brain probably lit up for a split second. Is that worth it? Oh, you know it is. Check it out. 100 triangles. Oh, you don't even want... Oh, let me go fix that frame. You don't even want to know how I had to do this. Ooh, now we got a hand. Ooh, if only there was a way to make it look more realistic. Yo, look at these visuals. Yeah, well, can you do this? No, I can't do that. That means I'm better. You're gonna tell me that you look better than this. Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, I don't really know how to start the video, so I'll just put the title on the screen and call it a day. A little history about me. I studied computer science in college, and about halfway through, I was thinking, this is imbalanced. I have no people skills. I can't even smile for a camera. So I'll study theater as well. People there fake their emotions for fun. Maybe that'll rub off on me. It'll be great. So that's what I did. And enough about me. Chapter 1, Computer Science. So why didn't I express myself through CS, Why did I feel imbalanced? Some people say CS is an art. It's like, ooh, the art of computing. But don't kid yourself, okay? There's rules you have to follow. It's not an art. We're not even math where you can just do whatever you want. Wasted a section, honestly. Sorry about that. Next one will be more plausible, I promise. I read a lot of books growing up as a kid. I mean, who didn't? And I remember in 2 of these books, at least, there was a kind of magic called naming, where if you knew the name of something, you had absolute command over it. Like in the Aragon series, if you knew the name for fire, you could just be like, fire, and boom, you had fire. In The Name of the Wind, the title of the book is Name of the Wind, like, that's the whole thing. The dude tries to find the name of the wind. Elodin got up from the couch and began to pace the room. All around him was nothing but smooth, hard stone. It was a cell no man had ever escaped. He stopped pacing and held up a finger dramatically. But Elodin the Great knew the names of all things, so all things were his to command. He faced the grey wall beside the windows. He said to the stone, "Break," and the stone broke. So I think solving a problem with computers is kind of like knowing the name of that problem, Like, let's take Fibonacci numbers, for example. If I asked you what's the 10th Fibonacci number, you'd have to count it in your head or write it out on paper or something like that. But we'll type in the magic codes. For less than a penny's worth of electrons, I can tell you. I can tell you any Fibonacci number. And when you solve a problem with computers, you don't just solve it for a specific value. You just solve the problem, period. And I know Fibonacci numbers is a bit of a trivial example, so let's do a more real-world example. Going from point A to point B, how do you get there? Used to be you need to be able to read a map and look at the street signs, or at least know the area you're in. But now you just type it in your phone and it gives you directions. Incredible. And people use this kind of magic to command other people. Just throw in a little bit of capitalism and boom, Uber. Commanding the people, commanding the drivers that drive the people to their places. Scientists used to be accused of magic for all the weird stuff they were doing all the time. I mean, look at it. Look at this. 5 volts of energy, recognizes your touch. You can send anything to anyone in the world as long as they have the magic device. I don't know how that works. So to recap, it's magic because it gives us dominion over problems we used to have to solve ourselves. People use it for their gain, and you don't know how it works. I really like this theory because it makes me a magician. But spoiler alert, magic is not real, sadly. Steve Jobs had an interesting quote. Basically, the National Geographic did a study on the efficiency of locomotion. So, like, how many calories does each animal spend to travel a mile? And the condor was at the very top because it could just, like, fly a mile and no problem. Humans, on the other hand, have to, like, feel the weight of them walking. So we were, like, a third of the way down the list. But then someone at National Geographic had the brilliant idea of putting a human on a bike, and that just blew the condor out of the water. I mean, you'd rather bike 10 miles than walk 10 miles, I'm sure. And Steve Jobs' analogy was that computers are like bicycles for the mind because you can do things a lot more efficiently. And bicycles use leverage, which like your foot is like a lever on the crankshaft, which like makes the wheel go. And like mechanically speaking, all leverage is when you move something a little and something else moves a lot. Kind of like when you pull a lever, something big happens, but you didn't make that happen. You just pulled the lever, and that's computers. Side note: Steve Jobs thought we'd live in a utopia where like everyone was computer literate and knew how to control their own data. But really, it turns out it's a lot harder to control a computer than it is to ride a bike. So it's really just the top corporations using you for ad money or whatever. Oh, and you know those graphics from the beginning of the video? It was a little subtle. I tried to get you to think that I hand drew each frame, but really it was just some code was in there for the triangles at least. Yeah. So I'm a lot better at CS than I am at theater, so I can't really give you any cool theories on what theater is, but I can tell you my experience with it. So basically it was just reading plays and writing essays, but it all started in Intro to Acting. In that class we had to deliver a monologue. I thought it'd be really cool if I could laugh or cry, because that's just the pinnacle of acting, you know? So I tried to figure out how to laugh. I think I figured it out. One night I was going for a run. At the turnaround point, there was like a bench there, so I was laying down on it. I looked up and the stars were out. And let's just pretend that you have a stupid fact in your head. Like, let's say you know that you can contribute $6,000 to a Roth IRA, and that you can invest that money and it'll grow tax-free forever. But then, if you get a job, then you can't do that anymore because you meet the contribution limit. But then your company will give you a 401k. You can put money into that. You can also do a Roth 401k through some Roth mega backdoor conversion or something like that. And then from there, you can convert that to an IRA. And that is basically like the IRA you had before, but you have to wait 5 years in order for it to be eligible. And it's just like a bunch of rules. It's like someone just made those rules up, and a bunch of people agreed on it, and now this rule is taking up space in your head. But the stars have been around longer than me, longer than anyone, longer than humanity. That's a lot of people. And I was laughing because I thought it was funny how easy it is to let go of these things that we made up and really don't matter, and just like look at the stars. They've been around, they're there before you. How easy it is to do that, and yet we never do. And I thought that was funny. And it might have worked with the monologue, because the monologue was about this guy who's trying to be a doctor, and he takes the doctor test. The results are mailed to his house. His family's like, oh, finally, we're going to have a doctor around. Look at us. Ooh, bougie. And then he's like, you know what? I don't want to be a doctor. And then he throws the results away. He probably passed, though. He's a smart guy. And I tried to, so it could have worked. I tried to laugh during the monologue in class, and it was forced. It was bad. Would not recommend. It just didn't work out. Practicing that damn monologue so many times, I even got one tear out, but I knew I shouldn't try that in class because it probably just wouldn't work. Stage fright or something, I don't know. Yeah. Normally the thesis goes at the beginning of the video, but, you know, here we are. It's also usually presented a lot more subtly, but, you know, this is me. This is the thesis. The thesis is that computer science and theater are more than different. They're opposites in many ways. For example, CS is based on rules, theater isn't. When a problem is solved in CS, it stays solved. While in theater, just because something worked before doesn't mean it's going to work again. And lastly, CS can be done alone with no one watching and still affects millions, while theater has to work really hard just to have an impact beyond the original audience. Although it is a much more personal impact, I'll say. And part of my brain likes CS, the other part likes theater. You know, I can laugh at the stars, but I can't smile at a camera. And maybe that's because these two parts of my brain haven't met yet. And that's a real bummer, because I think it'd be cool if they did. End video. Thanks for watching. Look at you, you trooper. You made it all the way through. Congrats. Have a good day. If it's nighttime, then, you know, just go to bed. I'll have a good day tomorrow.